With everyone stuck in their homes and Pornhub streaming to every television in the house. No? Just me? It's never been a more important time to protect your data, and the best way to do that is with the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your data from the evil prigs in Silicon Valley. You only see ads if you want to, and you're rewarded with cryptocurrency for your attention. Winning! Support Sandman and download Brave by clicking on the link in the description.
What's up, you bunch of penises in the corner? Don't you worry, I'm disregarding you. Terrence Popp, Redonkulous.com, and do not adjust your eyes. Bad Pop is here. Now I've been trying to get away from this whole coronavirus horse, but it just keeps pulling me back in. Oh, God. With this much stupidity on full display, it's kind of like a nice set of dials and pegs or a slow-motion train wreck. You just can't look away. Oh, kind of like that. The last 4 years has been nothing but a horrible game of dominoes. Fail after fail after fail, and there's no end in sight. And now it has gotten so bad, it's costing people their lives. Democrats have never been hesitant about sacrificing human lives on the altar of power. They claim to be the party of the poor. And if you had two brain cells to rub together in your skull, you would know exactly what that means. That means it's in their best interest, you guessed it, to keep you poor. They want you completely reliant on the government. You know, that organization that f***s everything up. This is the same group that says we have a horrible problem with police brutality. But at the same time, this is the same group that believes police are the only ones that should have guns.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
They don't want more social programs to help you. They just want to make it easier so they can embezzle taxpayer money. But what else would you expect from the party that formed the KKK? Not to mention Jim Crow laws and racist gun control. And they fought tooth and nail against the Civil Rights Act. Now they blame all of that on the other guys. History lesson for you. The first blacks elected to Congress, all Republican. And they were elected as early as 1870. It took the Democrats an additional 65 years to follow suit. But when you go to the DNC official website, they actually have the balls to say that facts and truth matter. Get out of here. Damn. You haven't cared about facts since JFK got his last official haircut, Screen 5. A little off the top. Now we've used that joke before, and it's actually offended some of our fans, which means we're not gonna stop, Screen 5. Bottom line, the Democrats don't give a shit about anything unless it's getting more power. Not us, not our children, the country, nothing.
How many did I adopt? I kill my kids.
And today we're going over all the ways the Democrats like to throw people into the furnace of f***itude. Well, not all the ways. If we did that, this episode would be longer and more convoluted than Tiger King. So do yourself a favor. Pour yourself the menagerie to soften the blow. Because I'm going to embrace my inner Carol Baskin and feed the Democrats to the tigers. Yeah. Number 1, Puerto Rico.
Suave.
I'm supposed to dance here, but Pop don't dance. Ever. You all know the story. Hurricane Maria showed up in 2017 and the whole area. All hurricanes should be named after women. Why? They show up on a whim, destroy your entire life, and then just blow away. This was a Category 5 hurricane which caused over $91 billion worth of damage. And almost 3,000 people got zeroed out. But, you know, Democrats, they can't let any crisis go to waste. Puerto Rican leadership and the media blame the whole thing on Trump. Like he stormed from the X-Men?
No offense, but you are a stupid asshole.
The media said that Trump was lying about all of the aid that he had sent to Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rican leadership blamed Trump for this because he hated brown people and racism and all. Wah. Meanwhile, Trump is saying,
I sent that relief package to Puerto Rico. It's the greatest relief package anybody's ever seen. Nobody's put together a relief package quite as good as the one that I put together for Puerto Rico. They're lying. They're fake news.
Winning! As it turns out, he was absolutely correct. It's funny how that keeps happening. In January of 2020, a huge warehouse full of supplies that was sent in 2017 was discovered. And it's rumored there's several more of these warehouses that were conveniently forgotten by Puerto Rican officials, most of whom have already gotten fired. But after 2.5 years, most of those supplies have gone bad or were soiled by animals. It just proves my point that the leftists will not lose one opportunity to capitalize on the misery of others. Number 2, the the World Health Organization. Did you know that this trusted organization is nothing more than an arm of the UN? And this arm is rammed up everyone's asses, turning them into sock puppets. Hey, how you doing? F*** your mother. I'm sorry, but from the UN's past performance, that's all you really need to know, Space Ghost. In fact, its director was elected with Chinese interference back in 2017. And I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. Blake, take it away.
Oh, me, really? All right, fine. Hang on. Let's see. Tedro Abdominal Cramps Gay Crisis Center.
That works for me.
What the
This dude was actually praising China for their transparency. And he said that China's handling of this crisis was a model for the world to follow. So what you're saying is we should haul people off into concentration camps to die, and then we're gonna cook our numbers harder than a Chai Congo meth lab screen 5. So it's no surprise in the beginning of January with this tweet, which claims that the human-to-human transmission of this new virus was a conspiracy theory. The Wuhan Health Organization has been running interference for China, and in the process, signing the death warrants for countless people. Despite all the evidence, the WHO and the media are spinning a web of lies to blame this whole thing on, you guessed it, the United States. Be careful, China. You keep acting like a bunch of spoiled kids and not taking responsibility, your women might get the wrong idea and become feminists. As you can see, leftists have no problem letting hundreds of thousands of people die as long as they can blame it on the other guy. And this is my favorite part. Our own media, the free media of the United States, is helping them do it.
They're now twisting that into like Trump personally holding a stake, and they're trying to frame it, and of course people are believing it, that Trump himself is trying to profit off of this. It is fake news. Trump's stake in this company may be as small as $99, as if that's incentive for him to tout this drug.
And number 3, the Democrats and the leftists in our very own country see this whole thing as an opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision, whatever the that means. In fact, they want over $300 million to go to illegal immigrants. So let me get this straight. I'm supposed to sit by and let my loved ones die while some asshole who jumped the fence gets for free? And the best part, I'm supposed to shut up and pay for it.
Yeah. That's not gonna happen.
If you think this won't backfire in November, you got another thing coming. Thankfully, this has not happened yet. And AOC with those perky tits threw an absolute conniption fit on the House floor.
Shameful. The greed.
How dare you?
But then again, what else is new? I haven't seen her this upset since, I don't know, since she didn't know what a garbage disposal was.
I am told this is a garbage disposal. I've never seen a garbage disposal. I never had one in any place I've ever lived. It is terrifying. I don't know what to use it for.
Can someone vote this bitch out of office so she can go back to doing what she was meant to do? By that, I mean getting her tonsils buttered behind the cum dumpster at the bar she works at. And then maybe, just maybe, she'll flash those tits when she thinks all of the attention is gone. I am holding out hope for that. I mean tits, not Congress, them. Especially when the House of Reps thought they could vote themselves a pay raise at the expense of the taxpayers. I got a better idea. How about we build a special Chinese hospital just for Congress? It'll be just like a reality show where only the strong survive after they weld your ass in there. Oh my God! Ah! Ah! You don't like that idea? I thought the Party of Science would appreciate Darwinism, which, by the way, you have to completely ignore to be a communist, Screen 5. And number 4, don't you dare allow these mother fornicators to say they give a penetration about your children. These are the same people that wanted, then voted for, and got approved abortion up until birth. And then you have the balls to say we shouldn't have guns because of school shootings?
When we see that being used against children, hell yes, we're gonna take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not gonna allow it to be used against...
You leftist chicks crack me up.
You can't kill my children. I want to kill my children.
I kill my kids.
Yeah, I still pay to kill babies, though.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I hate to drop a New York steamer into your salad over this, but your chances of that happening are about the same as you getting married. Number 5. California used to be prepared for shit like this. They had mobile hospitals along with the supplies and a bunch of ventilators until they f***ed it all up. You don't have to take my word for it. They wrote about this in the Los Angeles Slimes. They had 3 mobile hospitals, each the size of a football field. And these hospitals could be deployed to a crisis area and set up within 72 hours. That's amazing. And the supplies included 50 million M95 masks, 2,400 respirators, and 21,000 additional beds. And you want to know who had the foresight to see all this back in 2006? You guessed it, the governor.
Come with me if you want to live.
Oh, by the way, he was their last Republican governor, just saying. But a Democrat took office in 2011, looked at all of this stockpile and said, nah, it'll be fine, we don't need it. It was either donated for no profit, and how the hell does that help a deficit? Or it was sold to parties unknown. Wang Chang Chong, just saying.
Can we hurry this up? I have a government to defraud at noon.
Between this and outbreaks of what were thought to be extinct diseases, add that on top of the website that tracks all of the fecal matter in this wonderful state, California has become the prolapsed, abused anus of the leftist agenda.
You know, up until the coronavirus, the millennial generation was the largest pandemic the world had ever seen. And the list of symptoms is longer than a walk to Mordor. If you have a useless college degree, live at home in your 30s, believe all women, always have an excuse for your failures, and think Bernie Sanders actually has good ideas, I got bad news for you. You've caught the stupid, and it's probably terminal. Way. Luckily, there's a cure. Pick up How Not to Become a Millennial, a salvation guide for Generation Z, and vaccinate yourself against the soy. A link is in the description.
Number 6, on top of all of these national embarrassments, we have a worldwide pandemic. And the Democrats are campaigning to keep people from getting better. Well, why? Because Orange Man is bad. Wah, shut up. Despite the fact that chloroquine and its derivative have proven effective in many countries, to include Australia, France, England, United States, and guess what? China's doing it too.
No, it's not true. That's impossible!
Democrats are frantically trying to prevent its use. So let me get this straight. CUOMO is pushing this medication, and he's a hero. But Trump, doing the exact same thing, is a fruitcake peddling snake oil.
This has been a remarkable show of leadership by Governor Cuomo in recent days. He's providing hope, but not false hope.
One woman in Arizona went on the news to trash Trump about him pushing this potentially life-saving drug. And why? Because they believed him. They tried the drug and now her husband is dead.
Don't believe anything the president says.
Except they drank fish tank cleaner. And keep this in mind, she hated her husband and wanted to divorce him.
Picturing her, the media has presented her as a pro-Trump middle American, right? She just trusted Trump, and her and her husband were drinking fish tank cleaner, holding each other like the couple in Titanic.
Yeah.
When the truth is, she wanted to divorce her husband. Okay, so when she was discussing divorcing her husband in 2001, she attacked him, was arrested, was charged with domestic abuse assault, though eventually she was found not guilty. She still talked about wanting to divorce him in 2012 and said, quote, "I am furious all the time." She reiterated it in a 2013 court case.
Now, some would say that her husband kicking his air addiction and her becoming famous is kind of suspicious. And I would be one of those people. But this is yet another example on how the left will let people die to score political points. Or they'll just flat out murder people with fish tank cleaner, allegedly.
That nigga did that shit. I can feel.
Number 7, and for this one, we gotta go back in time in the Wayback Machine. Remember in late January, early February, when Trump closed the border to anyone who had traveled to China? And the media called him a racist, xenophobe, bigot. It's not like we haven't watched that same show for 4 years now. And Creepy Joe called it fear-mongering.
Where am I? What year? It's 1970s? No, wait. I'm in Mexico? Where the whore is that? Oh my God, Space Ghost.
And the media said it was unnecessary because it's not as bad as the flu. We'll give it time. Even Dr. Fauci said it saved untold lives and allowed us to get a jump start on the response. Which is why the media is constantly trying to draw up shit between him and the president. Because you can't have one public figure that they like getting along with one that they don't.
Kanye West is what happens when Negroes don't read.
He's the token Negro of the Trump administration.
I'm just gonna say there's a reason why they call you fuckers fake news. And it's not because you're doing your job. Well, maybe China thinks you are. Screen 5. And now the Democrats, who are jumping all over Trump for the travel ban and saying it wasn't necessary, are now saying it wasn't enough. And one of these people, you guessed it, Nasty Pelosi. Oh, God.
His denial at the beginning was deadly.
She encouraged huge gatherings of people in Chinatown on February 24th. That is almost a month after the travel ban.
We do want to say to people, come to Chinatown.
And not to be outdone, Mayor de Blasio stole the crown of stupid. He encouraged the civilization of New York City to ignore the coronavirus and get out on the town. How's that working out for you now? New York City is the primary epicenter in all of the United States. How many times have I said this? Go ahead, ignore reality at your own peril. Well, it's here and it's killing people. Thank you, Democrats. Winning? No.
Come join us.
And number 8, we gotta thank the Democrats for something else. Gun crime in gun-free zones. Because guns are the problem, and so are white Republicans, especially if they're male. Wah!
So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men.
What the hell did you just say?
Despite the fact that a massive majority of gun crime is in Democratic hellholes. And coincidentally, all of those hellholes for gun violence are now hotspots for the new virus. Because when you're the party of the poor and you want to keep people poor, well, there's some unwanted side effects. It's so amazing what you can figure out when you look at facts. When your whole world is not filtered through the wart-written snot pocket of confirmation bias. I can't believe I said that.
You gotta be f***ing kidding.
I'm as dyslexic as a f***er mother, and I suffer from overgruntitis. I can't believe I just got through that. If you want to congratulate me, go to redonkulous.com/donate and throw me a couple bucks, because Hooked on Phonics works for thee, but not for me. Number 9, you want apples to apples comparison for this mess? Well, I got one for you. H1N1. This virus hit the United States in 2009. And what did the media have to say about it? I'm not going to say that it has anything to do with a drone-happy Kenyan in the White House, but I have my suspicions. Just like I have my suspicions about his wife's Adam's apple. And the fact that she's got better forearms than Hawkeye in the Avengers. Oh God, vomit. I'm not saying anything one way or another, but 2 scrotums in a relationship is 1 scrotum too many. Just ask Joan Rivers. I'm not going to say that Obama had the media in his scrotum tickling palm of his hands. You know, threatening AP journalists or weaponizing the IRS against his political opponents. But I will say that the media's response to that pandemic and the one of today is kind of anticlimactic. And what was going on when the media was completely silent? $275,000 people were hospitalized and between 12 and 15,000 died. Let's fast forward to today. After calling it a Chinese virus for weeks,
the first U.S. case of Chinese coronavirus.
The Chinese coronavirus.
This is coming as the Chinese coronavirus.
China's coronavirus outbreak.
China's coronavirus.
The media flips their script when Trump calls it a Chinese virus.
This is all happening at a time that we're starting to see a message shift here, because you're starting to hear the Republicans, especially Trump calling it the Wuhan or the Chinese coronavirus.
He's a racist, he's a xenophobe and bigot. Man, change your goddamn tune.
It's going to come across to a lot of Americans as smacking of xenophobia.
The media ignored this pandemic, not up until a point it was knocking on the door, but when it kicked down the door, when it's in your house banging your wife.
There's an important context we need to keep this in, and that is that the flu is more deadly.
I want to give you some important context. So far, we know of fewer than 24 deaths from coronavirus in the U.S.
You know, the flu is already widespread in the U.S., and it really is much more deadly.
We do need to keep our eyes open for the seasonal flu.
The CDC does not recommend that we wear masks, for example. By the way, wearing masks in this country is not recommended.
Denial and dysfunction have been the 2 words of the day.
words that are used by the Washington Post in a searing account of the failures of the Trump administration.
No, please, no more. And while they were doing that, Trump was taking it seriously. He was closing the borders and starting a pandemic task force, but he wasn't doing enough. Who was doing enough? Nasty Pelosi?
Come join us.
African American gentleman, please, Space Ghost. You would say that there's a double standard at work here, and you would be correct. Let's drink. Nah. Last but not least, and I can't believe I have to talk about this, with all of this going on, with people dying all over the world, what is the Democrats' response? Impeachment to the electric boogaloo. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Because we can't allow any crisis to go unexploited. Winning? No. And I'll give you 3 guesses who's running the special committee to investigate the president. Shift for brains, we totally missed you. No, we didn't. Did you miss the cameras, Mr. Schiff? Did you miss the limelight or touching yourself backstage as you watched yourself on the screen? Has it been that long since you decided to force your overwhelming stupidity upon us? Wasting over $3 million on an impeachment that went nowhere wasn't enough. Now we're going to investigate the president's response to this pandemic. But, of course, you're not going to mention all of the Democrats who f***ed the dog on this, are you? Just like before, all you're going to do is expose your own f***ups. Because when Trump was closing the borders and starting a task force, and you know what? He even mentioned the virus in his State of the Union address.
We are coordinating with the Chinese government and working closely together on the coronavirus outbreak in China. My administration will take all necessary steps to safeguard our citizens from this threat.
You know, the one that nasty Pelosi ripped up after she pre-cut it, you know? Democrats all over the country have actively been trying to keep people from getting better. They're encouraging mass gatherings for the sake of political correctness, turning their own constituents into walking petri dishes. And of course, they're gonna blame all of this on Trump. You.
His denial at the beginning, we should be taking every precaution. Come join us.
Now, New York officials are planning on burying the avalanche of the dead temporarily in New York City parks. What the f***? How did we get here? Bottom line, people are dying and the Democrats are crying for more power. They don't care about you and they certainly don't care about this country. All they care about is winning, even though they completely suck at it.
Your reign of terror is over. Mine has just begun.
Now, I know there's a lot of guys out there like, Pop, the Republicans are just as bad. Well, guess what? When they do the same goddamn thing and the media runs interference for them, I will attack them just as much. But the media does not need my help, so guess what? Space Ghost. All right, hang on. F*** off. All right, let's go. Hey. Name me one thing in history that the government has taken over that worked out good. One woman in Arizona went to the media to trash Trump for pushing this potentially life-saving drunk. I think I've had too much menagerie. I'm saying drunk now.